Are you faithful in the little things? Oftentimes, we can say we're faithful to God and all this because we can do all these big things. But what do you do when no one else is around? Because it's those little things that God actually is looking at. You know, if you're faithful in the little things, you're going to be able to be given much more. It's when we are faithful to those small things. Oftentimes, we say no one's looking, and so we just go ahead and do these things and just break God's law. No one's looking, it's not going to matter to anything. I remember I was going through a period, it was kind of a strange period. Maybe it was the enemy just kind of trying to lay some traps down for me. But I would be tempted to kind of break the driving laws, you know, break this law, break that law. Um, you know, the light's red, it's okay to turn. And so, you know, it's like, well, yeah, no one's around. I don't see a cop anywhere. And this happened several times. But then as soon as I would say, it's like, no, I'm not. And it was in that period after I would say, it's like, no, I'm not going to break that law. I'm not going to drive the way other people would drive, you know? And immediately, that's when I saw the cop car. Cop wasn't there. It's like that cop car was automatically being hidden from my viewpoint. But then, as soon as I would say, no, I'm not going to, it's like my eyes opened up and I could see that there was a cop right there. And how many times do we say, oh, no one's looking? Well, God's looking. He's looking to see if you're being faithful, you know? You know, a lot of times we say, well, why haven't I gotten this? Why haven't I gotten this? Well, why haven't you been faithful in those little things that the Lord's asking you to do? You know, sometimes you gotta learn to be faithful in those small things because let's face it, it's those little foxes that spoil the vineyard. You know, it's those little things that sometimes can destroy nations, if you will. And Luke chapter 19, give me a second here. Luke chapter 19, verses 17, I'm going to read. But basically, it's the story of the parable of the talents, you know, or the pounds. And the guy was given so much money, and he was like, okay, I came back with more. And this is kind of what the Lord was saying here in 19 verse 17. And he said unto him, well, thou good servant, because thou hast been faithful in a very little, have thou authority over 10 cities. You know, if you're faithful in the little things, you're going to be faithful in those big things. Because let's take it for granted. We sometimes take it for granted that, oh, yeah, I'll be faithful in those big things, but you can't even be faithful in those little things. If you can't, how can God trust you in those really big things he wants to give you if you can't even be faithful in those little things? So learn to be faithful in those little things. Learn to be faithful when no one's watching you to God. You know? Alright, hopefully this has blessed you. And yeah, even jaywalking. There's a thought. Alright, well, God bless you. Take care.